So amico mio e fratello, my brother Scott.
All right, gosh, now I got to follow that introduction. Happy Pride. Thank you for inviting me. To start things off, I want to thank all the community activists that I know are gathered in this room, all of the spiritual guides who help us through daily. I want to say to you, namaste. Namaste. We here today, boy, we got to talk about where we've been and where we're going. Loving forward, it's a challenge. I also want to thank Tim Uber and his team. They did an amazing job here today. This is an all-volunteer organization, and the visuals you're going to see that accompany this speech are put together by a group of folks who do this free. In my world, we would be paying them handsomely. I cannot tell you how talented they are. Well, our tribe has certainly done well in the last decade. I wake up in the morning to my bedside alarm, it's playing a Noni song or a new Troy Sivan. The morning news says that Pete Buttigieg just climbed to the polls yet again. And my younger brother just got legally married to his great love kid. And gay bashings were down there low for a while. And I'm reasonably safe in my job and rental apartment as an openly gay man. We now are maybe 60 to 80% equal to white heterosexuals. True, in 30 states, there's still no protection for folks of different sexual orientation and employment, housing, and accommodations. But for now, chances are slim we'll be denied in any of those areas. Only 21 states protect us by law in all areas of our lives, including my home state of Wisconsin, home to lesbian Senator Tammy Baldwin. But for you, here in Florida, the former home of Anita Bryant, there are walls and stopping runners. You have no laws protecting you from discrimination based on sexual orientation or gender identity in housing, public accommodation, or employment. And the Trump administration, they like to keep it that way. What's more, they oppose our Civil Rights Act. For now, the Supreme Court stands with us most of the time. And even Salt Lake City has a Harvey Milk Boulevard. They know us now. We are no longer, yet still, the other. We are trans and non-binary and gender fluid, third gender or two spirits. Some are amalgagender or demigender. Occasionally I'm bigender. My sister is pangender. And some, well, agender. But we are one glorious tribe of diversity. Apologies to my bear, butch, and femme friends. It's hard to remember you all. And do we really need to define in detail who we are when we are amongst ourselves? We are lovingly queer. We are proudly the other. Those of us who survived our teens and went on to forge a community forged it for the others. LGBTQ+ was born, and now we even adopt children. Within our lifetime, perhaps we'll live in the White House. But it was not always this way. As late as 1985, you could lose your job and apartment for just being queer. Then, in 1986, the Great Plague swept through our people. The conservative right made an abomination of our faith, twisted and denigrated spiritual text. They forgot and ignored the gospel of love. They set forth a new crusade against God's other children. The twisting of faith is one of the first signs of an upcoming slaughter. Trust me, I've seen it firsthand. And now it's being used to demonize the scapegoat of the moment, the immigrant. Our trans family is not safe yet. These dark angels are that special club of the pious who love to hate. Not long ago, that club openly hated all of us here gathered today. Before that, they hated our brothers and sisters of color. Before that, the devious Jews, all driven by their twisted interpretation of faith. That is why the Trump-Pence dictatorship must end. We must put an end to the slaughter. Right now, those dark angels are preparing yet another slaughter. As if gun violence and slaughter at our borders isn't enough, they now want Iran's oil and will bring slaughter again to the so-called terrorist Iranians. I ask you, who are the real terrorists? Are U.S. manufactured bombs rained down on Yemeni children from the U.S. manufactured planes of Trump's royal family butchers? The same Saudi butchers who beheaded 5 gay men. As a cautionary tale, let's look at how far we've come and why we must never go back. Our history is seldom taught in schools. The modern arc is, well, maybe a mere 50 years old. We're just barely on our way. So teaching history has, in a large degree, been by oral history. Only in the last 2 decades have we seen it set down in volumes of books. I can only speak to you of the history I know. Some of it is wondrous, and a lot of it is horrific. While I was quietly out in college to a small circle of friends, I was no activist. I had a gay uncle in New York, and since the age of 18, I had my exodus completely planned from Wisconsin. I finished college, go to New York. I get into the entertainment business. I ended up doing exactly that, so be careful what you wish for. I spent the late 70s working in off-Broadway theaters as an actor and a manager. Then I graduated to producing, which is where I should have been all along. The first few years away from home, I watched probably the most hedonistic party New York has ever thrown unfold. It was like a party that had never been seen before and probably will never be seen again. Young queer kids streaming out of the Midwest to LA, New York, and Chicago. These were our safe spots. And then we gathered the tribe, and after years of repression, exploded in a state of free love and altered consciousness. It was a lot of fun until the music stopped. I was lucky. I worked at the prestigious Public Theater as a lonely play and script reader, and the playwright Harvey Firestein had taken me under his wing. We drank at the same East Village bar. The first word in sign language he taught me was, "I love you." Now, Harvey and I got to be fairly close. He had sort of an odd way about it. Of course, he showed me the Times Square Hustler bar that he used in the Torchstone Trilogy show, and he also showed me the Haymarket, which was basically a hustler bar. His boyfriend was deaf, so he was signing well. It all became part of the play, Torchstone Trilogy. He also loved the cast of characters in Times Square, and he told me that all of these tours were his research. Right. We had an optimatic side. When I walked into the subway one night, after doing more research at the Stud backroom bar, it was also complaining, he made a friendly pass. "Scotty," he said, "I haven't had sex lying down in 3 years. Would you maybe want to go back to Brooklyn?" Well, I half laughed and said I'd hate to ruin a good trick for one night stand. We kissed and headed home. Through Harvey and my uncle, I created a second family in New York. The first few years felt like that mythical hippie era, the summer of love. A lot of us were little queer hippie kids with long streaming hair, loving in every way imaginable. For 8 glorious years, it was life at the top of the rainbow. However, in 1981, that rainbow gave way to a storm. My friends began to die. I've been working on a nuclear disarmament film in the King of Prussia with pacifist ex-priests Dan and Philip Berrigan for director Neil D'Antoni. We used the theater I was working out of at the time as a soundstage. Martin Sheen played the judge, and after filming with us, he became a devoted activist for the Plowshares movement. He's been arrested many times in peace protests. He was spellbound by the Berrigans, ex-Jesuits who taught us the power of peaceful, nonviolent, direct action. Later, I would practice these same principles with ACT UP. At the same time I was venturing into film, I was also getting baptized into gay theater. My new friend, Harvey, my pinball-playing drinking buddy, asked me to help stage manage his play, Fugue in the Nursery, later to become the anchor of Torchstone Trilogy. We spent days workshopping the play at the Mama, an experimental theater just blocks from my East Village apartment. In the late evening, we would all gather at the bar, our local and only queer East Side bar, Loisade, soon to be the trendy East Village. We talked about theater like straight men talk about sports. We both had our favorite players. On any given night, you could find Harvey, fellow playwright Robert Patrick, Robert Mapplethorpe, the photographer Peter Hujar, and occasionally John Waters. Well, that was our crowd. Later, Quentin Crisp joined us. A bunch of hippie theater folks, myself included, pooled our money and our labor and bought and renovated an old 300-seat theater, not far from Allen Ginsberg's, your theater. In those days, it was not unusual to see Ginsberg or Patti Smith on the streets or ride the subway with Lou Reed or Laurie Anderson. We renovated that old theater, and sure enough, Fugue in the Nursery was launched. Queer theater was on its way, and Harvey Firestein was showing us how to do it. Slowly, the country started to understand about love they never could comprehend previously. It was a love that had all the complexity of the love they knew, but it was also a love that brought danger in practice. Later, it would be that love that would save us during the plague years. Much later, I would join the celebration of the opening night of the Torchstone Trilogy on Broadway, with little Matthew Broderick playing David, his first role in many. There were many plays that explored queer love and the challenges of being other, different, and unique. In each of our journeys, we would discover that many supposedly Christian and spiritual people were good at casting stones, but really lousy at love. We would learn that the monstrous damage self-loathing could manifest in the likes of J. Edgar Hoover and Roy Cohn. Yes, the same evil, closeted, nasty lawyer who sat at the right hand of Joe McCarthy, and then in the 80s, serviced the needs of a young Donald Trump. Cohen was the architect of Trump's tax dodge schemes. Cohen was pure evil. Trump learned a lot from me. It's no mistake Trump and Pence are a team. Pence is the new Roy Cohen. Later, Cohen was to die a terrible death from AIDS and become a central evil character in the masterful Angels in America. As the years went on, people I knew started to become sick. My new second family members and friends whispered about folks who they thought had cancer or picked up something traveling abroad. There was something going on, but no one knew what it was. The lights were starting to go up on this endless party of ours. People started to stay in, to nest, to isolate in fear. There was a wolf at the door, and for years we heard the howling. In 1987, young men were dying in the thousands. After work, before work, and on lunch breaks, I would visit hospitals, the home health, and hospices. It was life during wartime. President Reagan provided absolutely no help. Useless and in denial, even as his friend Rock Hudson lay dying. He and Nancy had gone to the dark side. The pious were watching. The anger and frustration of our people paved the way to action. Stonewall had taught us to fight back. The only one who would save us were ourselves. ACT UP was born out of anger, but maintained the teachings of turn the other cheek. We were the children of Gandhi, but we were also the children of the sacred band of thieves, an army of lovers. That sacred band of thieves, who were an army of 150 pairs of male lovers. They fought for each other's lives and were lauded as heroic in ancient history. If you see the movie 300 again, you'll really know the real story. In 1987, the radical queer playwright Larry Kramer called upon us to rise up and save ourselves. We just did that, exactly that. We would not use violence. We would become their worst nightmare, out and proud and fighting for our lives. The first attempt to the dime for our lesbian sisters. For years, gay men had not mixed with lesbians, being just as patriarchal in practice as their straight male oppressors. That practice vaporized fast. ACT UP meetings were run by lesbians, drag queens, dykes, trans folk, and white bread stockbrokers. We dumped our brothers' ashes on White House lawns, disrupted congressional meetings, and shut down Wall Street and the New York Stock Exchange. There would be no business as usual until we had a cure, or so we thought. The war I knew lasted for me from 1987 to 1997, 10 years at war. My career became secondary. Along the way, I managed to launch some Queer TV with the all-gay comedy show Out There, and much later with Queer Eye. But what I am most proud of are my ACT UP years. Laying siege to the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, surrounding the NIH, the National Institute of Health. The best was shutting down the New York Stock Exchange to protest AIDS and drug profiteering. In shutting down the stock exchange, we went in dressed as stockbrokers, complete with phony ID badges. We chained ourselves to the VIP gallery and drowned out the opening bell with Marine airguns. After unfurling banners calling them all profiteers, we tossed packs of phony money over the heads of the angry stockbrokers, each bill saying, "Screw your profiteering, sell welcome," a reference to the makers of AZT, an orphan drug for those welcome sold for $15,000 a year with no R&D costs. It was a shell failed cancer drug. We were booked and photographed by the FBI and NYPD, and then later at trial, the judge called us heroes, acting for public good. Even though acquitted, I never got my fingerprints back. I had trouble getting on airplanes for many years, right up until the Obama administration. Well, later I filed an FOIA under the Freedom of Information Act. I requested any files from the FBI. And from the report, I learned that my phone had been tapped and we had been watched. The group that was devoted to nonviolent direct action training were labeled possible terrorists. The fact that I supplied demonstrations with walkie-talkies and cell phones at a City Hall demonstration had opened up my first thought. In 1998, Barry Kramer and the gentle, fierce, and amazing ACT UP co-founder Vito Russo encouraged me to go to Hollywood. Up the ante was what Vito said to me on his deathbed. Before I left for LA, within a month of my arrival, Vito was also dead. By then, I was that faggot producer, as I once heard in the studio hallway. Not exactly the first to hire anyone. I financed my stay in LA by doing Japanese commercials with people like Sting and Charles Barkley for years. My buddy Yuki took care of me while I nudged Hollywood to come out and fight AIDS. I could pay the rent, buy groceries, and do what I did. I'll always be very grateful to Yuki and Lucy. I owe them a tremendous debt of gratitude. In 1990, there was no Ellen, no Queer as Folk, no Brokeback Mountain, and certainly no Call Me By Your Name. There were, however, killer queers in the film JFK, who shot Kennedy. Trans serial killers, nice big-building lesbians, and Sharon Stone's Basic Instinct. You know, your average homes. In 1986, Donna Beach made Desert Hearts, proudly lesbian in its content. The brilliant director Bill Sherwood made Parting Glances, a poetic film about the start of the AIDS years. And it would not be until 1991 that the new queer cinema burst forth with Poison, Swoon, and The Living End. In 1987, Bill Sherwood met me to discuss doing a film together. By 1990, he was also dead. My circle of friends became smaller and smaller. I had done another project with Harvey Fierstein in 1987, Safe Sex, the Lyceum, on Broadway this time. 2 years later, Harvey and I sat drinking Jack Daniels. We compared notes on the fact that half the cast and crew of both Safe Sex and the Torchstone trilogy were dead or dying. It would be 3 more years until I made Out There, our first gay TV show. Between 1990 to 1991, Queer Nation would spin off from ACT UP. I would co-found Out in Film for out queers working in TV and film. We would stage protests inside and outside of the Oscars, the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion. We dragged our closeted actors and directors out of the closet to fight AIDS. A new queer nation was born, heralded by the LA Weekly. We would enlist and recruit, and sometimes shame people to death. After doing Out There for Comedy Central, which oddly enough was a hit and had the best ratings ever for the network, they offered me a job in New York. The little faggot producer now had to go home. Then something amazing happened. Our little geniuses with ACT UP's Treatment and Data Committee came up after they worked with FDA ally Tony Fauci to use a combination of drugs to suppress the HIV virus. People stopped dying. It's what they referred to as the Lazarus effect, people rising from the dead. Between 1990 to 1995, we slowly perfected treatments, but along the way we lost Brian White, Keith Haring, and Miles Davis. The operatic play Angels in America chronicled that devastation and gave us hope. So now we were alive, we were out. We could actually think about doing other things. By 1995, I was back to workman-like television, but along the way I was able to do projects for AIDS films and later Queer Eye. But just as we felt we could breathe a little and get back to some normalcy, Matthew Shepard was beaten to death. The queer rage that poured into the streets in 1998 to avenge his death was our community saying, enough is enough. As if some telepathic signal was sent, hundreds and thousands poured into the streets, not only in New York, but everywhere across America, in defiant marches for Matthew. We had spent 10 years watching our friends die, and we were never going back to the old ways. I had in those years pulled 200 cards of names and contact information from my pre-smartphone Rolodex. Remember those? All dead now. Business associates, friends, actors, musicians, artists, all dead. 3 of my peer group remained. I would rebuild, but it would never be the same. However, one thing was certain, change was gonna come. Where are we now? Where are we going? An army of lovers can never be defeated. Our tribe now holds seats in Congress. The White House is within reach. We know the difference between sex and love. We are marrying and creating a new range of families. We now are writing our new chapter. We are safer in most places, even outside of major cities. We live lives guided by spiritual values, forged in the knowledge that God is love, and we, the other children, are a product of that love. We are special. It is time for Trump and his dark angel spawn of Lucifer, Mike Pence, to go. Get on with it already. You do not represent America. Pence, for the first time in a decade, prevents our embassies from flying the rainbow flag, prohibits married same-sex foreign diplomats from being recognized, opposes the Civil Rights Act, and stands in the way of citizenship for children adopted overseas by same-sex couples. A war on children? Really? And as for that other faith-twisting, pious Bishop of Providence, Thomas Tobin, who's telling folks that pride events are especially harmful for children, have you not seen the movie Spotlight? Children are far safer at a pride event than in any Catholic church. You can ask my old boyfriend and a number of people in this room why that's true. A war on queer folk, really. I ask you all, in the words of Joseph Welch, Army lawyer, I will say to Trump, have you not done enough? Have you no sense of decency? Do not think that faith cannot be twisted around yet again to bring us to the point where we will bring slaughter. The crusade mentality is waiting in the wings, not just in America, but all over the world right now. Do not let the dark angels win. At this very moment, we're building concentration camps at our border. No cool air in 100-degree tents. Tents without showers, limited bathroom facilities, limited water everywhere. Immigrants are the new other. Women and children roasting in holding camps. Children dying. Trump now says he will deport millions. Reminds me of the guy who wrote Arbeit macht frei above their camps. Work will set you free. 1 million people deported, huh? Concentration camps. Kill children, huh? I don't think so. There will be a time to fight again. I say, estamos con nuestras familias inmigrantes. Bravo, el otro. Bienvenidos nuestras familias inmigrantes queer. For there will be a special place in hell for those who twist faith and wage war on children. Angels in America urged us to be our better angels. Angels who protect the weak and the oppressed. Perhaps someday these dark angels will seek forgiveness the way that a bigoted Alabama governor, George Wallace, did after realizing the damage he had done, begging for forgiveness from his wheelchair. Yes, it does happen. Yes, forgiveness is still within reach for all of us. Our allies will join us in this time. It is a battle between good and evil. Certainly that is what it is. Pete Buttigieg knows scripture far better than Donald Trump. The right-wing evangelicals do not own our faith. This is the year we may proclaim it. Our clear ambassadors of love and mirth, folks like RuPaul, Ellen, and John Waters, will teach our youth how to love and laugh at themselves. We will be whole. God is love, and we are part of God. We will not become complacent. We will remain vigilant. We will raise families in a world of love and equality. We will love well and walk humbly with our God, however we envision the Great Spirit. We know unity and victory are synonymous. We will seek more allies and change cultures one conversation at a time. Change is going to come. Recruit, enlighten, and love, my brothers and sisters. We are one glorious family, and we are never going back. But next, we must pay it forward. We must stand with and rescue, if need be, our tribe members in Russia, Saudi Arabia, Brunei, Chechnya, Yemen, the Sudan, and anywhere our rights and lives are threatened. If need be, we must enlarge the Rainbow Railroad that Canada has started. We must pay it forward. We are bound by faith to do so. We will live our faith and practice the gospel of love. We will be bringing comfort and hope to the hopeless. And I truly believe that a life spent loving well is a life well lived. As Father Victor says, we may be ordinary alone, but we are extraordinary together. Why? Because an army of lovers can never be defeated. An army of lovers can never be defeated. Change is going to come.
It's been a long time coming. I know, change has gotta come. Oh, yes, it is. There's a time I will go to my brother. Oh, I've asked my brother, will you help me please? Oh, he Somehow I thought I was still able to try to carry on. It's been a long, long time coming that I've known a change is gonna come. Oh,